तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and yesterday we started the day before the conversations of Saturday, May 9, 1885. And the topic is Narendra is telling that Hazra is a good person. And Sri Ramakrishna is going on showing him that it is not so. He may be doing some japa, but he has Rajagun in him. And so, that topic, he says, Sri Ramakrishna says, the truth is that, page 769. Bangla 823. The truth is that you cannot attain God if you have even a trace of desire. Subtle is the way of the Dharma. If you are trying to thread a needle, you will not succeed if the thread has even a slight fiber sticking up. So, Hazra has many desires. Desires for money, and that is why his japa and all that is not sufficient spiritually. There are people who perform japa for 30 years and still do not attain any result. So, number of years is not there. The full mind is, so long it is not there, some desires are there, there will be no result. Why? A gangrenous sore requires very drastic treatment. Ordinary medicine won't cure it. So desire in man is like a gangrenous substance. No matter how much sadhana you practice, you will not realize the goal as long as you have desire. Up till now, one topic Thakur is telling. And here now he tells something new. But is there now? But this is a change of direction, of talk. But this also is true, that one can realize the goal in a moment through the grace of God. Though, grace of God through His kindness. Take the case of a room that has been dark 1,000 years. If somebody suddenly brings a lamp into it, the room is lighted in an instant. Suppose a poor man's son has fallen into the good graces of a rich person. He marries his daughter. Immediately he gets an equipage, clothes, furniture, a house and other things. So these are equivalent of God's grace. A devotee, sir, how does one receive grace? So devotee finds that one has to do sadhana, this and that. But if God's grace is there, one can realize God. So how to receive that grace? Master, God has the nature of a child. That means you cannot bind him by any rules that if I do so much, then you will grace me. No. God has the nature of a child. A child is sitting with gems in the skirt of his cloth. Many a person passes by him along the road. Many of them pray to him for gems, but he hides the gems with his hands and says, turning away his face, no, I will not give any away. But another man comes along, he doesn't ask for the gems, and yet the child runs after him and offers him the gems, begging him to accept them. Thakur has shown extreme. People are begging, he says, I won't give, and somebody does not ask, he runs behind him and gives him. He has not asked. He may say no, but Thakur, the child gives him. So, are there any rules? One cannot realize God without renunciation. So now, something we can point out to receive grace of God or to do sadhana. So that is renunciation. That is the whole thing, giving up desire. So renunciation without one cannot realize God. Who will accept my words? I have been seeking a companion, a sympathetic soul who will understand my feelings. When I see a great devotee, I say to myself, perhaps he will accept my ideal. But later on I find that he behaves in a different way. Example, a ghost sought a companion. One becomes a ghost if one dies from an accident on a Saturday or a Tuesday. So whenever the ghost found someone who seemed to be dying from an accident on either of these days, he would run to him. He would say to himself that at last he had found his companion. But no sooner would he run to the man than he would see the man getting up, not dying at all. The man perhaps had fallen from a roof and after a few moments regained consciousness. So, different stories. Huh? Once Mathur Babu was in an ecstatic mood. He behaved like a drunkard and could not look after his work. At this, all said, who will look after the estate if he behaves like that? Certainly, the young priest has cast a spell upon him. Sri Ramakrishna's elder brother being the first priest, he was the senior priest, Thakur was younger priest. So about Thakur's that ghost story. During one of Narendra's early visits, I touched his chest and he became unconscious. Regaining consciousness, he wept and said, "Oh, why did you do that to me? I have a father, I have a mother. This I and mine spring from ignorance." So, renunciation, removal of ignorance. A guru said to his disciple, "The world is illusory. Come away with me." "But revered sir," said the disciple, "my people at home, my father, my mother, my wife, love me so much. How can I give them up?" The Guru said, "No doubt you now have this feeling of I and mine and say that they love you. Why you are saying they love you? You have this I and mine. But this is all an illusion of your mind. I shall teach you a trick and you will know whether they love you truly or not." Saying this, the teacher gave the disciple a pill and said to him, "Swallow this at home. You will appear to be a corpse, but you will not lose consciousness. You will see everything and hear everything. Then I shall come to your house and gradually you will regain your normal state. The disciple followed the teacher's instructions and lay on his bed like a dead person. The house was filled with loud wailing. His mother, his wife, and the others lay on the ground, weeping bitterly. Just then, a Brahmin entered the house and said to them, "What is the matter with you?" "This boy is dead," they replied. The Brahmin felt his pulse and said, "How is that?" "No, he is not dead. I have a medicine for him that will cure him completely." The joy of the relatives was unbounded. It seemed to them that heaven itself had come down into their house. "But," said the Brahmin, "I must tell you something else. Another person must take some of this medicine first, and then the boy must swallow the rest. But the other person will die. I see he has so many dear relatives here. One of them will certainly agree to take the medicine. I see his wife and mother crying bitterly. Surely they will not hesitate to take it." At once the weeping stopped and all sat quiet. The mother said, "Well, this is a big family. Suppose I die, then who will look after the family?" She fell into a reflective mood. The wife, who had been crying a minute before and bemoaning her ill luck, said, "Well, he has gone the way of mortals. I have these 2 or 3 young children. Who will look after them if I die?" The disciple saw everything and heard everything. He stood up at once and said to the teacher, "Let us go, revered sir. I will follow you." All laughed because of the anomaly. Another disciple said to his teacher, "Revered sir, my wife takes great care of me. It is for her sake that I cannot give up the world." The disciple practiced Hatha Yoga. The teacher taught him too a trick to test his wife's love. One day, there was a great wailing in his house. The neighbors came running and saw the Hatha Yogi seated in a posture, his limbs paralyzed and distorted. They thought he was dead. His wife fell on the ground, weeping piteously. "Oh, what has befallen me? How have you provided for our future? Oh, friends, I never dreamt I should meet such a fate." In the meantime, the relatives and friends had brought a cart to take the corpse out. But suddenly a difficulty arose as they started to move it. Since the body was twisted and stiff, it could not be taken out through the door. A neighbor quickly brought an axe and began to chop away the door frame. The wife was crying bitterly. When she heard the sound of the axe, she ran to the door. "What are you doing, friends?" she asked, still weeping. The neighbor said, "We can't take the body out, so we are chopping away the door frame." "Please," said the wife, "don't do any such thing." I am a widow now. I have no one to look after me. I have to bring up these young children. If you destroy this door, I shall not be able to replace it. Friends, death is inevitable for all, and my husband cannot be called back to life. You had better cut his limbs. The Hatyogi at once stood up. The effect of the medicine had worn off. He said to his wife, "You evil one, you want to cut off my hands and feet, do you?" So saying, he renounced home and followed his teacher, Allah. So, two incidents he has told. Really do they care at the cost of their life or at the cost of some expenses? Many women make a show of grief, knowing beforehand that they will have to weep. They first take off their nose rings and other ornaments, put them securely in a box, and lock it. Then they fall on the ground and weep. Oh, friends, what has befallen us? So, all the artificiality Thakur perfectly knows. Narendra, how can I believe without proof that God incarnates himself as a man? So, Narendra is a real seeker. And unless he experiences something, he is not ready to believe. So that Prakran is over in a way. And Narendra has put forth his difficulty. Girish, faith alone is sufficient. Faith itself is the proof, Girish says. What is the proof? That these objects exist here? Faith alone is the proof. I see these objects. The seeing means real. Is seeing correct? So everything depends upon the basic faith. That is Girish's argument. Faith alone is the proof. A devotee. Have philosophers been able to prove that the external world exists outside us? But they say we have an irresistible belief in it. So supporting Girish. How can we say external world exists? We have an irresistible faith that it exists, so it exists. Girish to Narendra. You wouldn't believe even if God appeared before you. God himself might say that he was God born as a man, but perhaps you would say that he was a liar and a cheat. So, how to have that proof? The conversation turned to the immortality of the gods. So, that incarnation point, unproved. It is here only. Narendra, what is the proof of their immortality? Girish, you wouldn't believe it even if the gods appeared before you. Narendra, that the immortals existed in the past requires proof. M whispered something to Paltu. Paltu, smiling to Narendra. What need is there for the immortals to be without beginning? To be immortal, one need only be without end. Master Masha has coached him to ask that. Being shy, he does not himself put arguments. Master smiling. Narendra is the son of a lawyer, but Paltu of that is son of a deputy magistrate. So he can argue. All laughed. All kept silent a while. Jogin smiling. He, meaning the master, doesn't accept Narendra's words anymore. The Thakur thought what Narendra says is true, but he has found that it is not so. Master smiling. One day I remarked, that the chatak bird doesn't drink any water except that which falls from the sky. Narendra said, the chatak drinks ordinary water as well. Then I said to the Divine Mother, Mother, then are my words untrue? I was greatly worried about it. Another day, later on, Narendra was here. Several birds were flying about in the room. Flying about in the room. He exclaimed, there, there. What is there? I asked. He said, there is your chatak. I found they were only bats. Since that day, I don't accept what he says. So it was on a worldly matter. At Jadumala's garden house, Narendra said to me, the forms of God that you see are the fiction of your mind. I was amazed and said to him, but they speak to. Narendra answered, yes, one may think so. I went to the temple and wept before the mother. Oh mother, I said, what is this? Then is this all false? Oh, the Thakur is telling, Narendra said, yes, one may think so. That is, it may be mind only. So Thakur went to the temple and wept before the mother. Oh mother, I said, what is this? Then is this all false? How could Narendra say that? Instantly I had a revelation. I saw consciousness, indivisible consciousness. So Thakur's everything is based upon direct experience. And a divine being formed of that consciousness. Consciousness everywhere and a divine being formed out of that consciousness. Indivisible consciousness and a divine being formed of that consciousness. The divine form said to me, if your words are untrue, how is it that they tally with the facts? Thereupon I said to Narendra, you wrote, you created unbelief in my mind. Don't come here anymore. The discussion continued. Narendra was arguing. He was then slightly over 22 years of age. Tu yaar Ashish nahi. Okay. The discussion continued. Narendra was arguing. He was then slightly over 22 years of age. Narendra. Why this is mentioned? He was still not mature. That is the meaning perhaps. Narendra to Girish, M and the others. Narendra is telling them, how am I to believe in the words of scriptures? The Mahanirvana Tantra says in one place that unless a man attains the knowledge of Brahman, he goes to hell. And the same book says in another place that there is no salvation without the worship of Parvati, the Divine Mother. Manu writes about himself in the Manusmriti. Moses describes his own death in the Pentateuch. That means, how can I believe these people? The Sankhya philosophy says that God does not exist because there is no ground, no proof of his existence. Again, the same philosophy says that one must accept the Vedas and that they are eternal. And Vedas talk about God. But I don't say that these are not true. I simply don't understand them. So his position is unbiased. Please explain them to me. People have explained these scriptures according to their fancy. Which explanation shall we accept? White light coming through a red medium appears red, through a green medium green. So interpretations are different. What is the original? How to know? A devotee. The Gita contains the words of God. Master. Yes, the Gita is the essence of all scripture. A sannyasi may or may not keep with him another book, but he always carries a pocket Gita. So Gita importance Thakur is telling. Pocket Gita means he can carry always. A devotee. The Gita contains the words of Krishna. Narendra. Yes, Krishna or any other fellow for that matter. So still agnosticism is going on. Sri Ramakrishna was amazed at these words of the Narendra. That is, he has spoken of Krishna in a very derisive manner. EA बोले छे. What is EA? What is EA? English translation is someone else. This must be looked into. ये शब्द अर्थ माने হয় না কিছু it is something like Tom, Dick and Harry, anyone, anything. Okay. So A means anyone. That's correct. And that Sri Ramakrishna was. Any fellow for that matter. Sri Ramakrishna was amazed at these words of the Narendra. Master, this is a fine discussion. There are two interpretations of the scriptures, the literal and the real. Thakur is taking the essence of everything, the spiritual essence of everything, not the outside discussions. One should accept the real meaning alone, what agrees with the words of God. There is a vast difference between the words written in a letter and the direct words of the writer. You cannot write everything, that is the meaning. The scriptures are like the words of the letter. the words of God are direct words. I do not accept anything unless it agrees with the direct words of the Divine Mother. So Thakur's testimony is very direct. The conversation again turned to divine incarnation. Narendra, it is enough to have faith in God. I don't care about what he is doing or what he hangs from. That is about Avtaras he is ridiculing. Infinite is the universe. Infinite are the incarnations. As Sri Ramakrishna heard the words infinite is the universe, infinite are the incarnations, he said with folded hands, ah. So this infinity idea only has touched Sri Ramakrishna up till now. M whispered something to Bhavanath. So M is prompting this or that boy to argue against Narendra. Bhavanath, M says, Bhavanath directly has told his name. M says, as long as I have not seen the elephant, how can I know whether it can pass through the eye of a needle? I do not know God. How can I understand through reason whether or not he can incarnate himself? That is the point, as man. If I know God, then I will know whether he does this or that. I do not know the nature of God. Then how can I believe or disbelieve the incarnation? This is a better logic, huh? Master, everything is possible for God. It is he who casts the spell of ignorance on us. The magician swallows the knife and takes it out again. He swallows stones and bricks. So that is how the magic is played, not real. A devotee, the Brahmos say that a man should perform his worldly duties. He must not renounce them. So he has brought it, Brahma's opinion. Giri, yes, I saw something like that in their paper, the Sulabh Samachar. But a man cannot even finish all the works that are necessary for him in order to know God, and still he speaks of worldly duties. So he has put the priorities up and down. That means he must do his duty. But what he should do for God is not able to do. And plus, if you put ordinary duties, then what will he do? This argument is opposite of what ordinary people do. They say, our work does not get end, how we shall think of God? And he said that our thinking of God is not sufficient, how can we attend to the work? Sri Ramakrishna smiled a little, looked at him, and made a sign with his eye as if to say, what he says is right. So this Girisha's argument Thakur has like perfect. M understood that this question of performing duties was an extremely difficult one. Purna right. So Girisha's argument has told us that duties, whether to perform or not, is not easy to understand. That is what Master has understood. Purna right, Master. Who told you about our being here? Purna, Sarada. Another boy devotee. Master, to the woman devotees, aha. Thakur's love for Purna is infinite. All these discussions are going on. Give him, he tells the woman devotees, give him some refreshments. Narendra was preparing to sing. The master and the devotees were eager to hear his music. So arguments over. Purna is being fed and Narendra will sing. Narendra, deep within himself, has faith on God, his love for God, wants to realize God. Intellectually, he is like that. Narendra sang. Shiva, the ready thunderbolt. So let us catch the Bengali here. Vyome jago rudra, uddata baj, deva deva mahadeva, kala kala mahakal, dharmaraja shankara shiva, tara haro paap. This must be a piece from the classical music. Shiva, the ready thunderbolt, rules over meadows, hills and sky. O God of gods, O slayer of time, thou the great void, the king of Dharma. Shiva, thou blessed one, redeem me, take away my grievous sins. He sang again, sweet is thy name, O refuge of the humble. It falls like sweetest nectar on our ears, name, and comforts us, beloved of our souls. सुंदर तुम्हार नाम दीन शरण है वहीच अमृत धार जुड़ाय श्रवण प्राण रमण है. Again, why, O mind, do you never call on him who takes away all fear of danger? Tricked by delusion, you forget yourself. Enamored of the world's bleak wilderness, alas, what mockery is there? Comrades and wealth you cannot always keep. Take care lest you forget him quite. You of the false, O mind, adore the real, and all the grief will vanish from your life. Keep my good counsel in your heart. With sounding voice proclaim, Lord Hari's name, and cast away your false desires. If you would cross the ocean of this life, surrender to him body, mind and soul, and worship him with trusting love. This is a fully devotional song. विपद भय वारण जे करे ओरे मन तारे केनो डाको नाम मिछे भ्रमे भूले सदा रोए चो भव गोरे मजी एक ही विडंबना ए धन जन ना रोवे हेनो तारे जन भूलो नाम छाड़ी असार भजो हो सार जावे भव यातना आखन हित वचन शोनो जतने करी धारणा वदन भरी नाम हरि सतत करो घोषणा यदि ए भवे पार हवे छाड़ो विषय वासना सौंपिए तनु हृदय मन तार करो साधना. पलटू. Oh, here. Patu. When I behold thy peerless face. Oh, no. Patu. Won't you sing that one? Narendra, which one? Patu. When I behold thy peerless face. Narendra sang. देखिले तुम्हार शई आतुल प्रेम आनने की भय संसार शोक घोर विपद शासने. When I behold thy peerless face, beaming with love, O Lord, what fear have I of earthly woe or of the frown of sorrow? As the first ray of the dawning sun dispels the dark, so too, Lord, when thy blessed light bursts forth within the heart, it scatters all our grief and pain with sweetest balm. When on the love and grace I ponder in my heart's deepest depths, tears of joy stream down my cheeks beyond restraining. Hail, gracious Lord, hail, gracious one, I shall proclaim thy love. May my life breath depart from me as I perform thy works. So, Narendra is all that faith and everything is there inside. Narendra say Ganti Gaitechen. Those first two lines were told by Paltu. Then Narendra song. देखिले तुम्हार शई अतुल प्रेम आनने कि भय संसार शोक घोर विपद शासने अरुण उदय आधार जमन जाय जगत छाड़िए तेमनी देवो तुम्हार ज्योति तेमनी देव तुम्हार ज्योति मंगलमय विराजिले भक्त हृदय वीत शोक तुम्हार मधुर सांत्वने तुम्हार करुणा तुम्हार प्रेम हृदय प्रभु भाविले उथल हृदय नयन वारी राखे के निवारिये जय करुणामय तुम्हार प्रेम गाइए जाय यदि जाग प्राण तुम्हार कर्म साधने. ब्यूटीफुल सॉन्ग. At M's request, Narendra sang again. M and many of the devotees listening with folded hands. Be drunk, O mind, be drunk with the wine of heavenly bliss. Roll on the ground and weep, chanting Hari's sweet name. हरि रस मदिरा पिए मम मानस मातुरे एक बार लुटाओ अवनी तले हरि हरि बोले कांदरे गति करो करो बोले गभीर निनादे हरि नामे गगन छावरे नाचो हरि बोले दुबाहु तुले हरि नाम बिलावरे लोकेर द्वारे द्वारे हरि प्रेमानंद रसे अनुदिन भासरे गाँव हरि नाम हो पूर्ण काम नीच वासना नाशरे. So that is Narendra sang again. Meditate, O my mind, on the Lord Hari, the stainless one, pure spirit through and through. How peerless is the light that in him shines. How soul bewitching is his wondrous form. How dear is he to all his devotees. He sang another song. Now Narendra in this singing mood. This universe, wondrous and infinite, O Lord, is thy handiwork, and the whole world is a treasure house full of thy beauty and grace. The stars glisten innumerable like gems on a necklace of gold. How can the myriad suns and moons ever be numbered above? The earth is glowing with grain and gold, thine ever brimming store. Uncounted stars, O God, sing forth, blessed, blessed art thou. Then he sang, upon the tray of the sky, blaze bright the lamps of sun and moon, like diamonds above the glittering stars, to deck thy wondrous form. This, I believe, is Guru Nanak's song, isn't it? In Bengali, only one line is given. Huh? He continued, fasten your mind, O man, on the primal Purusha, who is the cause of all causes, the stainless one, the beginningless truth. As prana, he pervades the infinite universe. The man of faith beholds him, living resplendent, the root of all. At Narayan's request, Narendra sang, that is given in full in Bengali. Yeshoma, Yeshoma, O Hriday Rama, Parana Putali Go. Everybody is, according to his constitution, is requesting and Narendra is obliging. Hriday Asane Homa Asin Niraki Torego Achi Janmavadi Tor Mukhache Janama Janani Ki दुख पे एक बार हृदय कमल विकासो करिए प्रकाश प्रकाश होता है आनंदमयी. This you read in English. Come, come, mother, full of my soul, dawn of my soul, my heart's delight, in my heart's lotus. Come and sit, that I may see thy face. Alas, sweet mother, even from birth I have suffered much, but I have borne it all. Thou knowest, gazing at thou. Open the lotus of my heart, dear mother, reveal thyself there. Then Narendra sang a song of his own choice. So he is telling, he has obliged everybody. And now he is singing of his own choice. In dense darkness, O mother, thy formless beauty sparkles. Therefore the yogis meditate in a dark mountain cave. निबिड़ अंधारे मात और चमके और रूपराशि ताई योगी ध्यान धरे हुए गिरि गुहावासी. The song most probably Trilokya composed seeing Sri Ramakrishna's Samadhi. As Sri Ramakrishna heard the soul enthralling song, he went into Samadhi. Narendra again sang, be drunk, O mind, be drunk with the wine of heavenly bliss. Again, he had sung that once. Again, he Hari Rasa Madhira Piye Moho Manasa Mature. The master was in Samadhi. He was sitting on a pillow, dangling his feet facing the north and leaning against the wall. The devotees were seated around him. In an ecstatic mood, Sri Ramakrishna talked to the Divine Mother. He said, I shall take my meal now. Art thou come? Hast thou found thy lodging and left thy luggage there? And then come out. He continued, I don't enjoy anybody's company now. Why should I listen to the music, mother? That diverts part of my mind to the outside world. So everything is relative in comparison to God Himself, which is positive. The master was gradually regaining consciousness of the world, outer world. Looking at the devotees, he said, years ago, I used to be amazed to see people keeping koi fish alive in a pot of water. I would say how cruel these people are. They will finally kill the fish, but later, a change came over my mind. I realized that bodies are like pillowcases. It doesn't matter whether they remain or drop off. So dying is only dropping of the body. Bhavanath. Then may one injure a man without incurring sin? Kill him. Bhavanath is of very soft nature. So he gets this doubt and he is asking. Master, yes, it is permissible if one has achieved that state of mind, but not everyone has it. It is the state of Brahmajnana. Then may one injure a man without incurring sin, kill him? So to that reply, Thakur's reply is yes. If he has achieved his state of the mind. But everyone has it. It is a state of Brahmajnana. But not everyone has it. So it is all right. This is Adhikari way. This is right or wrong is no reply. If this is right for him, if that is right for him, if this is wrong for him. So Thakur has corrected that question itself. By coming down a step or two from Samadhi, I enjoy Bhakti and Bhakta. I think somewhere we stop. From this we'll pick it up tomorrow. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavivirīditam Kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadātatam Bhuigrunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.